Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm David Lamb, sitting in for David Zhang. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Former President Trump visits California. After snubbing the debate in the state, he's now at another GOP event. Find out what he said. A California icon with an extraordinary legacy, U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein dies at age 90. How will her seat be filled? California's governor vetoes another controversial bill that would have further limited interactions between law enforcement and ICE. But the governor says current law is already balanced. Trump makes an appearance in California after skipping the debate in the state. Earlier today, he was at the fall 2023 GOP convention. NTD's Christina Corona was on site at the start of Trump's speech. Let's take a look.
We are here at the Marriott Hotel where former President Donald Trump is speaking at the GOP convention.
Thank you very much, and I'm thrilled to be in this beautiful place. Boy, are they messing up California, but we're thrilled to be here with the conservative patriots who are leading the charge to take back this state from the radical left lunatics.
I did speak to a few attendees, and here is what they said.
When he shows his strength with what everybody's doing to him, he still shows that fortitude, he shows that smile, and he gives us the strength that we can continue fighting even in where we are in California.
I hope he addresses the economy. Personal interest of me is the fentanyl crisis. Last year I lost my oldest daughter to fentanyl, and it's time that this get taken care of.
What I'm hoping is that he starts addressing what's happening in California as far as our budget. I mean, we're $25 billion in the hole. Still importing another $25 billion a year in oil when we shut down everything here. The border, the taxes. I mean, it's an endless list.
Simple enough, being able to follow the Constitution. Lots of good scholars out there, but what we need is not just the brains, but the brawn. What we really want is to find things that are reasonable, practical, that can be done without, knocking the whole country's economy flat on its back.
During his speech, Trump covered issues ranging from California's forest and water management to wildfires and homelessness. He added a lot of policies are also harming the state's farming industry. On a more national level, he criticized the rising gas prices and the push for electric vehicles, saying it harms workers' ability to get fair wages and job stability. Trump also took a few moments to criticize Biden's administration, saying too much money is being sent overseas. He has been traveling all across America all week and will travel to Ottumwa, Iowa Sunday. He is set to hold a Commit to Caucus event and to deliver policy remarks largely focused on agriculture.
Senator Dianne Feinstein has died at the age of 90. The California Democrat was the longest-serving female senator in U.S. history. She was also the oldest current member at the time of her death. Feinstein, a former mayor of San Francisco, was first elected to the U.S. Senate in 1992. Some of her consequential work include the 1994 federal assault weapons ban and the 2014 CIA torture report. Recently, Feinstein's health became a subject of increasing scrutiny. She took an extended absence from the Senate in February, when she was hospitalized with shingles. She returned 3 months later after suffering multiple complications. There was also another brief stay in the hospital in August after a fall. Lawmakers paid tribute to Feinstein's legacy on Senate floor.
As California's longest-serving senator, Senator Feinstein broke barriers and blazed a trail for women. Her career was, by any standards, historic.
The sign of a leader is someone who dedicates the whole of their spirit for a cause greater than themselves. The sign of a hero is someone who fights for others, who endures for others, no matter the cost, no matter the odds. And the sign of a friend is someone who stands by your side to fight the good fight on the good days and on the bad. Dianne Feinstein was all of this and more.
Those of us who were fortunate to call Dianne our colleague can say we served alongside the longest-serving female senator in American history. Dianne was a trailblazer in her beloved home state of California, and our entire nation are better for her dogged advocacy and diligent service.
California Governor Gavin Newsom now has the power to appoint someone to serve out the rest of Senator Feinstein's term. California will let insurance companies consider climate change when setting their prices. This aims to prevent insurers from fleeing the state over fears of massive losses from wildfires and other natural disasters.
Unlike other states, California does not let insurance companies consider current or future risks when deciding how much to charge for an insurance policy. Instead, they can only consider what's happened on the property in the past to set the price. In a news conference on September 21st, California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara said the new rules will let insurers look to the future when setting their rates. But companies will only get to do this if they agree to write more policies for homeowners who live in areas with the most risk, including communities threatened by wildfires.
Modernizing our insurance market is not going to be easy or happen overnight. We are in really uncharted territory, and we must make difficult choices. When the world is changing rapidly, it is critical to make clear where you stand. For me, as the state's insurance regulator, it's on the side of creating safer communities and a sustainable insurance marketplace in the face of our ever-changing climate and financial risk.
At a time when there were more wildfires, floods, and windstorms, insurers say that restriction makes it difficult to truly price the risk on properties. It's one reason why, in the past year, 7 of the top 12 insurance companies doing business in California have either paused or restricted new business in the state. The rule change could mean higher rates for homeowners who are already seeing dramatic increases. According to the California Department of Insurance, 8 insurance companies doing business in California have requested rate increases of at least 20% or higher this year.
The governor decided not to sign a bill that would have prevented some illegal immigrant inmates from being handed to ICE. He believes the current law is balanced. While the author of the bill is disappointed, she intends to reintroduce it next year.
Governor Gavin Newsom vetoed a bill that would have blocked the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation from sharing the release schedule of some illegal immigrant inmates with the Department of Homeland Security and customs officials. The information was normally used for deportation purposes. Assembly Bill 1306, authored by Assemblywoman Wendy Carrillo, would block collaborations and transfers between state prison authorities and the Federal Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, or ICE. This applies to inmates convicted of certain offenses or being released with qualifying conditions. In a statement posted on September 22nd on social media X, Carrillo said she was disappointed. In a veto letter on why he chose not to sign the bill, Newsom said, "I believe current law strikes the right balance on limiting interaction to support community trust and cooperation between law enforcement and local communities." In 2018, Senate Bill 54, known as the California Values Act, was implemented. It prevented state law enforcement agencies from sharing resources and coordinating with federal immigration enforcement efforts. That bill was an expansion of the state's Trust Act, which took effect in 2014 and prevents inmate holds for immigration purposes. Since the Corrections Department isn't a law enforcement agency, existing legislation doesn't apply to its operations. The vetoed bill attempted to regulate the department with similar guidelines. Carrillo had written AB 1306 with the intention to offer incarcerated illegal immigrants similar protections provided to other inmates in criminal justice reform measures recently passed by lawmakers. They are designed to reduce the prison population. While no groups were listed in opposition to the bill, Republican lawmakers in the Senate and Assembly repeatedly voted against the legislation. Carrillo said she plans to reintroduce the proposal as early as 2024.
We'll take a short break now, everybody, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come right back. A controversial gender affirmation bill is stuck down in California. A father fighting for a child custody calls the move a miracle and a victory. A Bay Area bakery repairs following a recent burglary. They are one of the many small businesses that are falling victim to crime. A hotel converted into housing homeless in one of California's largest cities. Those stories and more coming up on California Today. Welcome back to California Today, everybody. I'm your host, David Lamb. A father fighting for child custody finds relief after California's governor vetoes a new bill. The bill would have made gender affirmation a consideration in child custody court disputes. The father says his 3-year-old son's mother tried to raise their son as non-binary. Here's our interview with Harrison Tinsley.
Welcome back to NTD News. So could you tell me, what was your reaction when you found out that Governor Newsom vetoed AB 957?
It's an absolute miracle. It's a huge victory for the parents of California. We worked so hard against that bill. That's the one I myself was fighting against, going to the Capitol, speaking on as a witness, talking to the legislators, the author of the bill. And I'm just so thankful that we were able to actually make a difference.
Now, you told me that this bill was supposed to actually help you theoretically in your case with your son.
Yeah, 957 could have theoretically given me custody because I'm affirming my son by treating him as a boy, which he adamantly says that he is, while his mother claims that he's non-binary, which he is not. However, it's a terrible bill, and I'm so thankful that it was vetoed because it's going to save thousands of kids and families regardless.
In what way?
Well, it's of course about everybody in California. It's not just about me and my son, but in what way is that this bill would have created in family courts families being torn apart because parents would have used it to claim their kids as transgender to win in custody battles, and it would have been devastating. I mean, I think that this transgender stuff with children is the worst evil we're doing right now as a society, and it needs to stop. We need to tell kids the truth. It's not loving to affirm a delusion. It's loving to tell somebody the truth, even if that's hard. We are confusing kids, and we have to say no more. This is the time in history where we put an end to it.
Recently, you were at a San Jose school district school board meeting. What was the board meeting like?
The board meeting was crazy. There was so much passion from both sides. It was really cool to be there and experience. And thankfully, there were so many parents that showed up on the side of just the basic truth that kids need to go to school for an education, not indoctrination, and that there shouldn't be any secrets kept from parents. We have a right to know everything that goes on with our children, and we have the right to protect them and keep them safe. And if we're not comfortable with something, we should be allowed to express that and protect our kids from that. And I'm super thankful that so many parents showed up to speak their minds.
A point that's always brought up is some of the students don't feel safe at home due to feeling rejected based on their gender ideology. Do you think that's an issue or common with households nowadays?
I think unfortunately it's becoming more and more common because society is pushing this nonsense into kids' brains. I think gender ideology doesn't belong anywhere near children. They can't comprehend things like that. They don't understand something so complex and abstract. I do not believe that there's parents that are actively harming their children because they're saying something about gender ideology. All that's happening is parents are speaking the truth to their kids and trying to help guide them to have the best possible life and outcome possible. And it's getting conflated as kids feeling unsafe. The reality is all kids growing up, me included, you have arguments with your parents and things you don't agree on, but your parents are doing their best most of the time to help guide you and love you, and that's all it is.
Harrison Tinsley, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure having you back on our show.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy to stand up for kids.
A Vietnamese bakery gets its front doors repaired after a truck rams into it early Thursday. The thief ran off with lottery tickets, cigarettes, and cash, but the owner says the lottery tickets may be invalidated if reported to the California Lottery.
A locally owned bakery in Silicon Valley wraps up its door repairs on Thursday night. This after a perpetrator crashed a stolen pickup truck at 4 a.m. into Queen Bakery in San Jose, California, taking off with lottery tickets, cigarettes, and cash. The bakery is owned by Peter Tran and his wife. Tran told us that sales were down for the day as customers avoided the repair site, which costs roughly $12,000 to fix. The bakery has metal bars and security cameras, but thieves have repeatedly come after the business in the past, including through the back, the roof, and the business next door. Around the Bay Area, many businesses dealing with crime are being forced to close down, including Vietnamese restaurant Le Cheval in Oakland. They plan to close their doors this month after decades of serving the community. In San Jose, Queen Bakery remains open, but the owner wants more police and patrol in the community to clean the city. In San Jose, California, David Lamb, NTD News.
The mayor of one of the largest cities in California announces the grand opening of a hotel to house homeless neighbors in San Jose. NTD's Tyler Castillo reports.
Located in the Alameda in San Jose, California, the Arena Hotel converted to house nearly 90 people experiencing homelessness.
Far too often, when push comes to shove, political leaders often don't treat it like the emergency that it truly is. We far too often leave people to suffer on our streets.
San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan explains that this particular hotel will be used immediately, with the program being a long-term solution, meaning that the city will have to look into approving this location into a permanent solution to homelessness. He says that this is an immediate, dignified housing for people of need.
They also provide like computers and job resources and things like that. So it's basically just like, I can say like, a little metropolis of like information.
One of the people of need that lives in this location was grateful to share her experience with us about the living conditions.
What's the average day over here? Can you tell us about your experience?
Well, so far so good. It's kind of like a college dorm experience almost like, but not as much chaos. It's cool, it gives you the sense of, at least for me, of relief. Like, I don't have to worry as much anymore, you know what I'm saying? Which is like the basis that you need in order to take your first steps into building yourself back up. So it definitely gives me the stability, I can say, that, all right, my stuff is here, I can lay down when I want to, I can get up, go make my appointments, and you really don't have to be concerned. And also, they provide meals.
Hagan also says she felt welcome in the environment. Mayor Mahan's office have been planning to beautify the Silicon Valley city without punishment to the unhoused. In San Jose, California, Tyler Castillo, NTD News.
Now let's check in with NTD's Carlos Reyes for a sports roundup.
We have a great lineup for you today. This is your California Today Sports Roundup, and I'm Carlos Reyes. Redding, California native, Olympic champion, and two-time World Cup winner, Megan Rapinoe took her final bow in international football after the U.S. beat South Africa 2-0 in a friendly last Sunday at Soldier Field Stadium in Chicago. The relentless 38-year-old striker was crucial to both of her team's goals, providing the long pass to Alex Morgan that set up Trinity Rodman's goal and taking the corner that Emily Sonnett headed into the back of the net. Here's what she had to say post-game.
I'm so proud of this team. I'm so proud to have been on this team for so long, to have represented our federation and represented this country for so long.
Rapinoe, who won the Golden Boot, Golden Ball, and Balón de Oro for her role in the U.S. 2019 World Cup campaign, received a heartfelt farewell as she left the field in the 52nd minute to a standing ovation from the crowd, handed the captain's armband to Lindsey Horan, and hugged her teammates. With 203 caps and 63 goals for the national team, the veteran played in 4 World Cups, winning in 2015 and 2019, and helped the U.S. to claim the Olympic gold at the 2012 London Games. Rapinoe is scheduled to play her last National Women's Soccer League regular season game with OL Reign on October 6th against Washington Spirit in Seattle. The NBA All-Star Game is reportedly coming to San Francisco for the first time. The Warriors and the NBA are nearing plans to bring the 2025 NBA All-Star Game and surrounding weekend festivities to Chase Center in San Francisco, according to The Athletic's Shams Charania. If those plans are finalized, it would be the third time that the NBA brings its annual All-Star contest to the Bay Area, but technically the first time the game would be held within the San Francisco city limits. The 1967 game was held at the Cow Palace, which is 1 block south of SF in Daly City, and the 2000 game was held at Oakland Arena. The news of the 2025 All-Star Game comes just days after reports that the Warriors could also be getting a WNBA expansion franchise. That team would likely start play in the summer of 2025, which can now also feature a massive NBA event in the Bay Area. A future WNBA All-Star Game could be a possibility too, as the WNBA has scheduled ahead to only 2024 so far. It also means that the Chase Center, which opened in 2019 and was built privately by the Warriors at a cost of $1.4 billion, could host an NBA Finals game and an NBA All-Star Game in the first 6 years of its existence. That is it for today's roundup. Thank you for watching. I'm Carlos Reyes.
Thanks, Carlos. That's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcast at ntd.com/California-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Ganjing World, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm David Lamb, in for David Zhang. Have a wonderful weekend.